What's up guys, Tyrone here from Hustlery. Super excited to have you watching this video. So the idea of this is that I'm going to take you through our 6-step business growth system that we implement into all of our clients, from retail brands to performance-based marketing for brands that has e-commerce stores. And over the years we've worked with Buffels and Brandewijn, Babbela's Rescue, Vitality IV, and the list goes on and on and on. And essentially at the end of the day, we have this blueprint that we implement for these brands. And I want to show you what we do. And the whole idea of that is that I want to show you how you then use our software to implement this in your business yourself. Because at the end of the day, marketing is actually quite simple. I'm not saying that it's effortless, but it's simple. It's simple if you understand the system, because I want you to implement this yourself. Because, why did we start Hustlery and why is it so affordable? Well, first of all, it's affordable because we can afford to make it affordable. And the other reason is that we want to help the small businesses out there to implement this themselves so they can grow and hopefully afford us as an agency when they get to that point and they just don't have the time to do it anymore. So really, really excited to show you this business growth system. And I think if we go through it, you're going to think to yourself, well, this is actually quite common sense. Well, not common sense, but it makes sense. And I'm really excited for you to have that aha moment and like holy shit moment, because it's really very, very straightforward when you understand the customer journey, because I want you to put yourself into your customer's shoes and feel yourself go through that journey if they have to purchase with you. So, if you feel like you have a product that people would buy, and if you feel like if more people knew about it, they would buy it, then I'm really excited for you to go through these steps. So what is our 6-step growth system? So if we go through it, well, before we go through it, I quickly want to talk about the Pareto principle. And the Pareto principle, there's different perspectives, but, essentially for me, it's like, the 20% of your effort gives 80% of the results. It's also the 20% of your customers bring in the 80% of the revenue in your business. And the other way around is also true. So with this 6-step system, what we try to do is we try to focus our efforts on that 20% that gives you the most results, because there's so much to do in marketing. There's like content, there's branding, there's logos, there's websites, and essentially everything I just said is probably part of the 80% that's not going to get you the results. So a lot of times people focus on the things that don't matter, and I'm going to show you what matters. What are the things that are going to take you from where you are now, the quickest route to money? And I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, we're gonna go through this system, but the reality is also that it's not a guarantee. Because I constantly scroll through Facebook, because I'm also a small business owner. I've had small businesses from supplement brands to beauty brands. My partner had a permanent makeup business. So I've done this for myself before I started an agency. I was a small business as well. Then you scroll through Facebook and you see these people telling you that they will double your revenue in 90 days. And if they don't, you get your money back and all this stuff. It's all BS. Marketing is not guaranteed. There's a lot of things that makes it complicated. And I want to simplify it in a way that you can implement it yourself, save money, and rather spend money on ad budget and other things to grow your business. So what does that 6-step system look like in a nutshell? The first thing is your target audience. And you probably have heard these things before, and I think sometimes it's just good to hear it from someone else. But at the end of the day, who are you targeting? Because not everyone is your client. Secondly, what is the offer and message that you put in front of that person? Because a lot of times people have an advert and there's so much information. There's like their logo, it's a list of 7 services, and it's just like it's overwhelming. When you craft a message on offer, it needs to be direct, one pain point, one offer. And we're going to go through all these steps in more detail in the next slides. I'm just running through the whole system. And then, after you know who your audience is and you've crafted an offer or a message, you need to pay to get attention. And what I want to say here right now is that you need to understand that in South Africa, in today's day and age, marketing has never been as affordable as it is right now. Obviously, when Facebook started, and it was probably more affordable in the early stages. But at the moment, paid advertising is the most cost-effective marketing method there is at this stage. You can reach thousands of people with a few $100. I mean, like, I've got clients for every 10 Rand that they spend, they've get 1,000 impressions. So imagine if you spend 100,000, how many people would reach? You can reach millions of people through spending 10 to 20 to 50,000 Rand a month. So what I want to tell you is that a lot of people are like, no, that boosting posts and all of that. it's because you don't have a plan. And that is why people aren't successful with digital marketing. So the 6-step growth system is not just a system, it's a freaking plan. So after you've paid to get attention, you need to capture people's data. Why? Because you need to build a relationship and qualify them, which is part of our next step, which is the nurturing phase. Because a lot of people out there, they boost a post, get a lot of messages, and all the chats just get pushed down. They never follow up, and essentially, like the what they call the honey is in the nurture, or there's a lot of terms out there, but essentially, not everyone is ready to buy right now. So if you don't have a system to collect your data, to manage it, to nurture it, to build a relationship with them, you're probably not going to convert them, because a lot of businesses have a very long sales cycle. And also, if you do something, let's say, for example, permanent makeup, it's a scary procedure. Like, it's permanent, first of all. So you need to build a relationship with that client. You need to make them feel comfortable. Obviously, every industry has their own nurturing processes, educational information that you need to share, etc. But just follow these steps and tell me if you don't think that it makes sense. That, okay, cool. If I have a specific target, let's say, for example, I do, I'm a makeup artist. Okay, so if I'm a makeup artist, there is so many different things that you can do. You can do wedding, you can do matric afskeid, matric farewells. You can do a stage makeup. You can do makeup for commercials. There's so many things. You can do special effects. But you can't just say, like, okay, I'm a makeup artist, and then target everyone. You're going to be way more successful if you say, listen, my target audience are people that are getting married, women that are going to get married. That is my target audience. Then you're way more specific, because then you can craft your message around that. Instead of just saying I'm a makeup artist, you can say that I've been doing I've been doing wedding makeup for 5 years, and I've got a special offer for women that are getting married in winter, as an example. Then it's more directed at women that are getting married. They will more resonate with that message. Then you can pay to get attention. You can then go onto Facebook and say, target all the women that have recently gotten engaged. Because then that is that's a specific behavior on Facebook that you can actually target as an interest. Now you can start collecting that data. Because I don't know, sometimes I feel like as soon as one friend gets married, all the friends in that friend group want to get married. So, build a relationship with that person, capture them, and then expand your audience, nurture them. And that is where the convert and multiply come in. Now you're like, okay, cool, let me do your wedding makeup, but then you can also do, the rest of the girls' makeup. So there's a lot of things that, involves around the system. And that's why this system almost works for everyone, because it's duplicatable. And if you go through the steps now with me and just envision your business going through these steps. And like I said earlier, as we go through these steps, I said in the beginning, it's simple, right? But it's not effortless. But I'm going to show you how Hustlery fits into each of these steps, because I use my software for my own clients, but now we've built our software in a way that you can do it yourself. It's simple, but it's not effortless. You have to apply yourself, and at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, are you willing to pay tens of thousands of rand for a really good agency, or are you going to spend 5,000 or 6,000 rand on a bad agency and get poor results, or would you rather spend 1,000 plus rand for a software where you use the rest of the money to actually grow an audience and put that in paid advertising to get your brand out there? Because like I said, I will show you now how you can reach people with the software. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and this is now the wheel spinning to show that this is a system. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is target audience and why you need to define your ideal audience. So the purpose of this is that you need to pinpoint exactly who you want to attract. Not everyone is your client. You need to understand it. So let's say, for example, you're a photographer. Niche down, become a wedding photographer or become a lifestyle photographer. You're going to get more business, because if you're just a generalized photographer, if you do maternity shoots, I promise you, if your maternity shoots are great, people will start flocking to you. So it's better to specialize in something. And then what is our focus of this specific step is to say, listen, who's our demographics? Where are we targeting? And here it says, niche positioning. Become a specialist, not a generalist. A specialist is more respected and valuable than a jack of all trades. If you're just a photographer, you probably charge like what, 1,500 Rand a shoot. But if you're a maternity photographer and you've got a really nice portfolio, people would pay 5,000-10,000 Rand for a half-day shoots. That's just the reality of it. That is why doctors also become specialists, because they earn more when they become a specialist in a specific field. And then obviously, your market share. So you need to also decide, what is the percentage of customers that you want to capture in a specific area. And we're going to talk about share of voice in one of our next steps, where it will actually make sense to you when we start talking about it. The next step, obviously, is now we know that, cool, we want to be a maternity photographer. We want to do maternity shoots. What type of message are we going to craft for those people? Because you need to, then the purpose of this is to develop an offer message that grabs attentions and creates an emotional trigger response. The focus on this is to focus on your unique selling propositions or your design. Your design is also a really big trigger, and focus on emotional triggers, pain relief versus pleasure gain. And I honestly believe it's better to focus on the current pain than the specific outcome in the future. So a lot of times when people do advertising like, join this course because you're going to earn 10% more in your business, or join our, fill in this lead form if you want us to grow your revenue by 30%. That's like a dream outcome. But if you say, are you struggling with your current agency, or is your business bleeding because you're wasting ad spend? That's a pain point. The dream outcome sounds nice, the 30% growth, but I think the pain point has a better emotional trigger. And that is where your messaging comes in. So people don't want your product, they want the outcome it creates. Targeting existing pain rather than promising future pleasure, like I just said. Always answer, why should they buy from you instead of anyone else? So if we have to use the maternity shoot, or the maternity photographer, what would be her unique selling proposition? Obviously, if she has a beautiful portfolio, but she can have something like feeling like an emotional trigger, like, do you feel uncomfortable to do maternity shoots? Reach out to me and we can talk about how we can create a comfortable environment for you and your family to do a shoot with us. That's very emotional, because I think with regards to maternity, sometimes you feel a bit it's a very special moment. So, target those pain points. Then after that, we need to pay to get attention. And this is where share of voice comes in. So, launch targeted campaigns to become unmissable in your niche and saturate the channels your audience uses. So if you know who your audience is, you will know where they hang out. So if you know that you want to do maternity shoots, and it's probably going to be women between 28 and 30, like let's say 45 or whatever, that they most likely hang out more on Facebook than they do on TikTok, as an example. I'm just generalizing here, but there's a lot of data out there that you can go and look at. But if you know exactly who your audience is, and you know what their interests are, it's going to be way easier for you to target them, because our AI ad launcher obviously helps you with your audience, but it also gives you the capabilities to apply your own common sense to say, listen, I know that if I target Afrikaans women that read Roy Rosa magazines, that are interested in, the Springboks, are probably going to want to buy a Springbok jersey, as an example. So with regard to maternity shoots, you can actually target people that have recently added a live event on Facebook that said they're pregnant. So there's a lot of value in knowing exactly who your audience is, because obviously your audience will determine your message, but your audience will also determine who you want to target on these platforms, and your keywords and how they think and all of that. So the focus of this step is to say, cool, number one, multi-channel ad campaigns where don't just use Facebook, use Instagram, use Google, because people will Google search maternity shoot. You can target people with a live event on Facebook. So don't always I know obviously if you have a small budget, start with one channel. That makes sense. But if you want to spend a bit more, use multiple channels, because tomorrow, for example, I'm not sure when you want to watch this video, but TikTok is on the edge of probably going to disappear in America. Then you focus your whole brand just on growing on TikTok, but that channel can disappear. Facebook can now, implement new rules, and then you can't advertise anymore. So it's really important to look at multi channels and also to collect data that we're going to talk about in the next step. But hunter chase of one-off opportunities, farmers build consistent presence, and that is where the share of voice is really, really important. And I always, like I just mentioned, don't rely on a single platform. So what does share of voice mean? So share of voice essentially is saying that what is your share in the market of your voice out there. So let's say, for example, there's 10 businesses and all 10 spend 1,000 Rand on marketing, which means that each of them will have a 10% share of voice in the market. If you come in and you spend 10,000 Rand by yourself, which means that they will accumulatively also spend 10% of 10,000, but you will spend 10,000. So it means that you will have 50% of the share of voice in the market. Will it instantly return in investment? Not necessarily, because you need to stay consistently top of mind, because you have to have the same message over a certain period of time to build a reputation, which will then essentially turn into customers. If you tell me, listen, if you sit right there and you tell me, Tyron, I have an amazing product which gives amazing results. I have an amazing service that clients are really, really happy with. And if I ask you, do you feel like if more people will know about that, will they become a customer? And you say yes. Why would you not also understand that if you reach more people with the results that you've already had with happy clients and successful results, maybe with weight loss or whatever it can be, if more people don't know about that, why will they not buy from you? A lot of times people start and then they give up because they don't see an instant return on investment. If everyone saw an instant return on investment, everyone would be extremely successful. The reality of business is that people run out of cash flow, and the first thing that they do is turn off their marketing, and they decrease their share of voice in the market. And then as a result, the other company's share of market automatically increases because you've reduced yours. Theirs automatically increases without you even spending without them even spending a penny. So especially when times are tough, like recessions and stuff like that, everyone's like, stop spending money on marketing. And then other companies out there will double their marketing. And when the recession is over, they've had the share of voice for so long that they are now the go-to at the end of the day. I hope this makes sense. I actually should have had some graphs here, but I don't want to waste a lot of time. So looking at these 3 steps, I think we can all agree that this makes sense. You have to have a specific person because we want to be laser targeted. Why do we want to be laser targeted? Because we don't have a big budget. If we had hundreds and thousands to spend, let's target everyone and hopefully have that gunshot approach. But we want to be laser focused. We want to shoot like a sniper, be specific, especially if you have a small budget. Target that person that you like, age. Where are they? What area? What are they interested in? Target very, the more specific you are, the more laser focused you are, the better your return on investment is going to be, especially in the beginning. So how does our software fit into these 3 steps? And let's quickly jump to it. So within our software, obviously, we have a ton of features, but the first thing we have over here is our AI ad launcher, because like I said in the beginning, it's simple to understand, but not effortless. But we're trying to make what we're trying to do with our software is reduce the effort as much as possible, and over and above that, give you a ton of other features which is going to help you increase your return on investment and also increase your conversion rates, because you now have a tool to manage your leads, collect payments, and it's just amazing. I'll show you now when we go through the features. But let's take, for example, someone that does maternity shoots. Let's take this one. Okay, Pretoria maternity photographer. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to take her link. Let's say, for example, she sees this video and she decides to sign up. But let's take her as an example and see how easy it is to actually use a platform. So first things first, all that you need to do is you just upload your link in our AI ad launcher. The AI pulls your logo, it pulls your product and service descriptions, it sees what your brand name is, what industry you're in. You can add your phone number there, it's optional. And where do we want to target? I'm just going to say Pretoria, South Africa. Cool. There we go. Then we're going to click on advertise. Obviously, as you can see, when we search maternity shoot, a lot of people do actually run Google paid advertising. So we can immediately now go and Google search and compete with them instantly within a few seconds. Obviously, you need to log in and stuff like that. But after that's done, I can click on Google search and launch campaigns very, very simple. So let's maternity shoot. Pretoria. Let's bring Pretoria in. Generate. And now we can immediately start competing with Tiny Cuddles and Tammy Holidays, baby bomb photo shoots. That's actually very cute. But we can literally instantly, within a few minutes, we can go live with our ads on Google as well. So as you can see, a capture maternity moments, family portraits you will love. All of that is done for you. Obviously, you can play around. The AI writes your copy. You can add a phone number for people to call you instantly. There's a lot that you can do here. Add your budget, 100 Rand a day, and you can start driving traffic to your website. Let's look at Meta on Instagram. So as you can see here on the right, celebrate the beauty of your journey with La Anne Photography. So maternity shoot Pretoria. I'm just going to click generate. Within our AI ad launcher, here where it says select media, you can obviously add a lot of photos, and it will actually help you also create some ads. At the moment, we're working a lot on improving the quality of our ads. As you would see, there's a dog now because I actually did a different demo for a specific client. But essentially, the AI will also help you with ad creatives, etc. It's just not as great as what I want it to be. So I suggest, there's a lot of tools. We have AI to generate content, AI to generate images. We have Shutterstock, we can get stock photos. But at the end of the day, the best content that always wins is you actually showing your work. If you are let's say, for example, in photography work, which we're going to do now and actually pull from our website. So I'm actually going to go up here and just delete these images. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the website. I'm going to do this and let's say search and see if there's a photo for us to use. Because that's always the best. User-generated content is always the best. So as you can see, this is an awesome photo with the elephants in the background. Super cool. And there we have an advert. So let me just get rid of these videos. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And there we have an advert. So celebrate the beauty of your journey with Lion Photography. As you prepare to welcome your little one into the world, let us capture these precious moments with warmth and artistry. Book your session today with a 500 Rand non-refundable deposit. So the AI, expecting a little miracle, your family journey deserves to be captured. I mean, how amazing is that? So we went from nothing to having Google ads and Facebook ads in minutes. And this is step one. Or it was step 1, 2, and 3 of our, journey that we need to take. So step 1, who's your target audience? So if we go into targeting, it says parents of toddlers. Maybe, they will, parents, or maybe they will have a second kid. We can also go in here and click edit, and we can see here specifically for live events. I don't remember if that it still has it as a live event. I think it could have been removed, but let's say 16 and pregnant, no. But you can obviously target women that are interested in, like babysitting or something like that. So you need to see what are there out there that they will also have in common. You need to do some research. But the AI has obviously written some things here for us. You can also remove all of this and target all the women in Pretoria with AI targeting. And with time, the audience will optimize automatically and find your audience. But then obviously in the beginning, you're not getting the best return because the AI needs to work with what you've got, optimize and see how it can find your audience for you. But yeah, so obviously step 1 was like, who's my audience? So within the targeting, the AI has helped you with that. With Google Ads, if we go in here by Google search, the AI will also help you with your targeting, maternity photography Pretoria. So your targeting is your audience is sorted out. Number 2 is your content. So if we go in here, your content, your messaging, obviously you can have a better offer. You can say free consultation. There's a lot of offer tools out there. We're also going to make an offer workshop available within our software, or it's probably maybe already there depending on when you watch this video. But there's a lot of tools out there to help you create a power offer. What I want you to understand as a small business owner, you need to apply yourself, especially if you can't afford a big agency. It's simple to understand, it's not effortless. But if you're not willing to pay tens and thousands of rands for an agency, this is the steps that I would take if I was you, because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and these are the things that work. So we have a business, obviously with Google search, it makes sense. If people search now, they're going to find our website. On Facebook, we can target people in Pretoria We can send them to our website with a budget 100 Rand or whatever a day, and we can go live. Cool. So let's go back to our presentation. So what's next after this? Now we need to capture and qualify leads. So the purpose is to convert interest into qualified contacts in your CRM. The goal over here, the focus is lead forms, segmentation questions. So you can ask specific questions on the lead form, which becomes a bit more complex. Micro conversions like appointment requests, downloads, etc. You have ebooks to pre-qualify people, etc. There's a lot to do here. I'm like I said, I'm simplifying it, but it's not effortless. And not everyone, depending on what industry you're in, will determine which step you're going to take within step 4. But to keep it simple and the most effective for most people is to just capture leads. Doesn't matter what service you're, capture data, communicate with them, and then you can decide if you can manually qualify them. Obviously, we have systems to, do the qualification automatically and stuff like that, but human intervention is always best. Pick up the phone. If people show interest in your business, call them. Build a relationship with them. People buy from people. That's very, very important to understand. And then the aim is to find people who are interested and get them into your database. Not everyone is ready to buy. Capture their details and nurture. Like I said earlier, not everyone is ready to buy. So how does that convert back to our software? So obviously our goal over here now is conversions, but we can say, cool, we want leads. So within our AR ad launcher, we can now, as you can see, there's leads, high intent. We can create lead forms here where we ask specific questions, like what details do we want? We want email, full name, phone number, always very important. And you can also add custom questions if you want. When is your when is your due date? Like whatever is relatable to your website, whatever is relatable to your business. But also what I want to show you is you can integrate our forms that you designed within our software in your website as well. You can also, as you will see here on our own website, you can actually capture leads with web chat as well. So you need to capture people's data. That is the thing. And there's many, many ways to do it with our platform. If you use WordPress, you can integrate with a webhook your forms that you already have within your website. But what happens when we capture data? And I want to show you how awesome this is because this is still part of the journey. So in this journey, we want to capture data. So it's either on Facebook lead forms, on your landing page, web chat, whatever channel, LinkedIn forms, TikTok forms, whatever lead capturing system you have. But let's say, for example, I'm a chiropractor and I run Google Ads now, and someone came to my website and they want to know more information. I'm just going to submit my details. What problem do you have? I'm just going to say, neck pain, been sleeping badly. Okay. Very stupid. Submit. Cool. Thank you. We'll get back to you soon. Now, if I go back to my system, very important, we want to capture data. So if I go into contacts over here, you would see that there's the contact that just came in. As you can see at the top, the 4th of July. But now, if I go to opportunities, you would also see that it's now a lead within my system. Now I know what's going on. The other cool thing is it will also come through to your phone as a notification that a lead just came in. And the thing that's even better than that, as you would see on my phone, it says, "Hi Tyron." Let me see if I can actually pop up my WhatsApp here. It says waiting for this message might take a while, learn more. So my desktop is not syncing. Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can do this. My number. I have a lot of chats. Let me just get this one. Okay, cool. So as you can see here, just now, 1 minute ago, "Hi Tyron, thanks for reaching out to Cairo 4ways, just a demo. You said you have a problem with neck pain, been sleeping badly. When can we have a call?" So this is completely automated as soon as someone comes in. Why is this important? Because part of our journey in capturing qualifying leads, the next step is the nurture, the automated nurture, building a relationship with that client. So we want to turn cold leads into warm prospects who are ready to buy. And what you need to understand is that go do your research. A lead becomes cold within minutes. So their interest drops from 200% to 50% within a few minutes. And a day after they've if they've gone to bed and woken up, they've probably changed their mind of whatever they want as a product or service. That's just like how it is. Every morning you wake up, you're someone new almost. So what you need to do is, as soon as someone fills in a form or contacts you on Facebook, you don't want them to wait. You instantly want to send them an SMS, WhatsApp, or an email to make that instant contact. If you have someone in your business, let them call that person as soon as possible. So what is our focus in step 5? We want to focus on automated lead follow-up like we just did, WhatsApp sequences. So now what we can do is, after they've become a lead, maybe, we can start sending educational messages, like a whole sequence. Every Monday we send them a message. If we were like a life coach or something, some helpful tips this week to help to make you think of your, EQ, your emotional intelligence, things you need to do, like how to handle situations, just like give free value away to build a relationship with them. Because like we said in the previous one, not everyone is, or the previous step is not everyone is ready to buy immediately. So your job at the end of the day is to build a relationship with them. It's critical that you build trust with them, because, it's in South Africa, people don't trust online stores, people don't trust companies, people don't trust brands and businesses. Even me as an agency, I don't want to tell people that I'm a digital marketing agency more, because it's built such a bad rep, because people just, like in lockdown, everyone think now, cool, they watch a few Iman Gadzi and Alex Hormozy videos that now they can run a digital marketing agency. It's not that simple. It's complex, and it's building a bad rep. So you need to build a relationship with people, because every industry has that. They have that bad guy that delivers bad service. Now people have a bad taste in their mouth, and you need to now show that, trust me, build a relationship, etc. So focus on WhatsApp sequences, retargeting ads. So within our software, when you, in our ad launcher, you can run ads on Facebook to retarget people as well. If you go into your audiences over here, targeting, and you can also do retargeting. So retarget people that has already invested in your brand, showed interest in your brand. You can do Google display ads to retarget people. So whenever they go to News24, whatever. So like Google Performance Max, that's everywhere. It's like, if you click on Google Performance Max, it will show in search, it will be display ads, it will be YouTube ads. It will essentially show everywhere where people scroll to if they're already engaged with your brand. So that is part of the nurturing process. And like I said, I'm going through this as quick as possible, because I know these videos can get tedious, but these are the steps. Whatever you do within this step is up to you. I suggest do the simple things, automated follow-up. Have a 5-day email sequence where day number 1, who are we? Day number 2, customer feedback. Day number 3, frequently asked questions. Day number 4, why us? Day number 5, whatever you feel is also important for them to know. And some key takeaways in this is that the money is in the follow-up. I've seen numerous times where people send an automated WhatsApp message. Now that person doesn't respond, they just completely give up. If you follow up a week or 2 later, I promise you that person probably forgot, and there's probably still potential to convert that client. Just like I mentioned now in the previous conversation or the previous chat I had with you, people buy from people they trust. That's important. And the only way to build trust is to educate. People trust people that educate them. So like, for example, you now going through this step, you probably already trust me a bit more. We're already building a digital relationship over here, because I'm going under the roof of exactly what we're doing. So we're building trust here, and provide consistent value, not just offers. This is very important to understand, because I'll go onto someone's Facebook page and it's like, discount this, offer this, sell. I mean, people don't want to be just around people that want to like force themselves on you the whole time. So remember that. Build a relationship. Build that trust. Now, within our last step, we're looking at converting, upselling, and multiplying. So I like to call this convert and multiply. And this is where you close sales, because now you've built a relationship. People are ready to pay. Now, our purpose of this is to maximize revenue and generate referrals. So how do we close sales? What is your strategy in closing sales? Are you gonna provide an offer? Are you gonna do a consultation and do it like your sales conversion strategy is something that's going to be relevant in your business? But as soon as you've converted them, think about how you can upsell and cross sell. So let's say, for example, you own a salon. Now you've done a whole cut, blow, and wave or whatever. Upsell hair products. If you do makeup, sell makeup to them that they can still use after the wedding. If you do photography, upsell maybe a book kit or something. Like, how can you increase the customer lifetime value of that specific client? which is very, very important. Because let's say, for example, you do a maternity shoot for 5,000 Rand, and every 2,000 Rand that you pay, you get a client, every 2,000 Rand in ads. Now you make 3,000 Rand. Cool. If I do a shoot for 5, but the day of the shoot, I can still sell additional booklets or whatever for 2 or whatever, it covers my marketing expenditure, which means essentially I got the client for free. We need to think about these things. And very important, get reviews and referrals. Referrals should be orchestrated, not hoped for. Ask for referrals. Always ask for referrals. Ask for reviews. Like if you have a relationship with someone and you honestly feel that you're delivering a good service, just straight up ask them, will you please go leave a review on Google? Here's the link. Stand there with them while they do it. It's good for your brand. Essentially, if you get a lot of Google reviews, you're going to rank higher automatically on Google Maps and stuff like that, or Google Places. So it's important. Like, don't let it just be hopeful. Make it orchestrated. Ask for reviews. And how does our software fit into all these other steps that we just looked at? So obviously the automated nurture you saw with the message that went out. So let's look at the converting part, where you can also use our platform to convert to lead, and we do that through payment. So let's say, for example, Tyron came in here now for something. I don't know what products I've created, but I can go in here now. Just want to quickly log in as myself over here. So how do we convert this person? So first of all, this is now integrated with my phone, like I said earlier. So my phone actually sends out the WhatsApp messages. So I can actually now go in here and say, listen, I want to request a payment. Thank you for coming through today. What did we do? We sold the chicken. Let's make this a very expensive chicken. Copy and mark as sent. And now send. So if I go onto my phone, I want to show you my WhatsApp business that I have over here. I can then go into chats here, and it says there Tyron Williams, and you would see that I've sent it from my phone, but obviously I have another WhatsApp on my phone where I've received it. So this is my receiving channel. So I literally send it to myself. But your phone now sends out a link to that person. So obviously on my phone, I can just open the link, and then it's integrated with PayFast. I can pay. Now what I can also do is I can now go into my opportunities pipeline, because we're talking about reviews here. I can go into my opportunities pipeline, mark this person as 1. And if I go into my phone over here, there's now another message that came through. So it says, let me just actually pull WhatsApp over here. Let me just minimize this and drag this over. So as you can see here, hey Tyron, thank you for choosing Hustlery demo account. We would greatly appreciate if you could take a moment to provide us some feedback. So I click on review, and this is now automated. So now just from me pulling down opportunity as 1, you can also automatically start generating reviews. And this is not just review generation, this is reputation management. Why? Because we've built a school system where if someone says bad, they need to fill in a form and say why it's bad, or if they're disappointed, or if it's average. We don't want to get average reviews. But if someone says good, we send them through to the next page, and we ask them to please go leave a review on Facebook or Google. So this is how this whole system now feeds in, because now obviously when you get more reviews and referrals, it builds your system again. Because if we can get more people into our target audience, if we get more customers, it will build our target audience. Let me just see where we are now. If we can get more customers, it will build our target audience. That's going to be irritating. If we get more customers, we're going to build our target audience. If we get more customers through referrals, we're going to get a better understanding of our target audience. Then that will help us with our messaging, because the more customers we get, we will understand their pain points, and our pain points we can then use as content to paint a billboard out there and show everyone, like, listen, is this your pain point? Give me your details, I will contact you. As soon as they've contacted you, you can then automatically send them an automated message, and then also nurture them, build a relationship with them through what? Retargeting, automated emails that get sent out to them. There's so many ways. Display ads. And then obviously when they convert, we want to multiply that. How do we multiply it? We multiply it by upselling and cross-selling, by asking for referrals and reviews, because that's always a win for our business. So yeah, I know this is a lot, But I want you to take this and understand that this is exactly the system that we use in our business. And obviously, this comes with, like the system doesn't just come with the benefit of growing. It also comes with the benefit of us having a software solution that you can use to implement this business or this system yourself. So if you're not bored yet, I'm quickly going to go through some other cool features that we have in our software. Obviously, we have our dashboard. We can see how many leads come in. We've spoken about our AI ad launcher. Then we have our conversations tab where all your conversations come in to see what's going on in your business. We have calendars, which integrates with your own calendar, where people then can book directly on your calendar. So you can just send them a link. It looks at when you have available slot. You can do this for services as well. So if you have a salon, you can book service calendars specifically. You have contacts. Within contacts, you can literally, if you had 1,000 contacts in here, you can click on all of them, send them all an email, send them all an SMS, send them all a WhatsApp message, etc. Obviously, we have our opportunities tab where you can see where people are in the sales process. Obviously, we have payments where you can send invoices, get paid. You can do contracts, you can do subscriptions, you can add products. The list goes on and on and on. Then we have marketing. We have a social planner to plan content. You can do your email marketing from here, like MailChimp. You can do trigger links. So if someone clicks on a link, then this happens. We have automations where you build workflows where if someone does this, then this happens. If someone fills in this form, then this happens. So you can have multiple ads with multiple different services. But if someone specifically fills in the form for let's say, for example, radiology or EMR or whatever, you specifically send them this WhatsApp that's related to that service. So completely automate your business in a way as well. We have sites where you can build funnels, build websites. You can also bring your WordPress website over to our store. You can host your own courses through our memberships area. We can build courses. You can create a client portal. And there's a lot of other things as we scroll down. At the end of the day, I think the important part is that all these features I went through is that 80% that gives you the 20% of the results. They're also important, obviously, but it comes down to the basic things where you need to have the right content in front of the right people repetitively so that they can only see you as the only option. The more you spend on that, the more share of voice you'll have in the market. The bigger your market, obviously you're going to have to spend more to get a bigger share of that pie. Because depending on your area, if you're a local small business in a small town, you're not going to have to spend more. Everyone is then going to be able to see you digitally, like a billboard, for example. So yeah, that's everything in a nutshell. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you're excited to join us. If you're interested in the software, click on the button below to get a special offer to join us. We're ready to walk a journey with you to grow your business to a point where you're like, you know what, I don't have time for this anymore and I want to use an agency, and then we'll be there for you as well. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to chatting to you.